people don't always give you that kind of like backing.
No, it's rare.
It's rare. It's like, oh, I trust what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna invest some time in reading it. So go ahead and do it.
Yo, that's the time, man. I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time for that shit. I don't give a fuck about your idea.
¿Qué pues, hermano?
From Cafeteria Film Studios in Miami, Florida, Phresh presents Que Bola, where we talk to various movers and hustlers in South Florida who are popping off and succeeding, and in the process, how they're influencing the 305 culture. My name is Darwin Figueroa, and I am your host. I hope you enjoy this, and let's get into it, all right? Listo.
Que hola, mi gente. How y'all doing? In this episode, we sat down with the creators of Complex Network's new show, Grown. It's streaming on complex.com. I highly recommend everybody go out and watch it. We sat down, we talked about what it took to actually produce this particular episode. Everything was written in South Florida. The visuals are beautiful. You can see all of South Florida, all of Miami in this particular production in this show. It was a really fun talk. I hope everybody enjoys it. Let's get into it, all right? Listo. All right, so we're in the studio right now with the peoples, the creators, the one and onlys of Grown, the Complex show that's live on streaming services right now, online right now. My man Edson, Jason, Maria. You guys introduce yourselves.
Josh.
I'm sorry. Josh.
It's cool.
I said Edson, Jason.
Yeah.
Is that I'm trying to rhyme. You don't even know that's my future, dog. After this, after the podcast, I'm gonna drop a mixtape.
I'm excited.
So you guys introduce yourself, starting with Josh. My bad, Josh.
Hello, my name is Joshua Jean-Baptiste.
Okay. What?
Maria.
I'm Maria Corina, and I'm from Venezuela.
Okay. And Edson.
I'm Edson Jean, director, writer as well. They didn't say what they do, but that's what we do for the show.
So what do you guys? What are your titles? Or
I'm Joshua Jean-Baptiste.
Okay.
Creator, writer, actor, starring in the hit TV series Grown.
all right.
Okay.
And your titles on the show, Maria?
Oh my goodness. I was one of the writers and actresses and the casting director and a lot of stuff.
The casting director.
That's right.
All right. So what does it consist of being a casting director?
You know, picking all the people that end up being on the show.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're the one who like look at the headshots and stuff like that and pick the people that are going to be on there?
And sitting through their auditions and picking the tops to show Edson, the director, and to show the producers in LA.
Okay.
So kind of like sitting through the good amount of people that came, like hundreds of people, and then picking the tops for every character and sending those out up to the higher ranks.
All right. So you were a casting director, Edson. You directed and you were starring in the show as well?
Yeah, directed, starred. Josh, creators on the show sort of like came from our minds. And starred in it.
All right. So how'd you guys meet up? How'd you guys like link up and get to know each other? I was like reading into your backgrounds. You guys all went to New World.
Shout out to
Miami. Shout out to the streets.
We met on Calle Ocho.
You guys met on Calle Ocho? Playa Puteria? That would have been dope, right?
Yeah, right.
I was fucked up. And then this dude walked up.
We met in school.
Yeah, we all met in school. I was a sophomore when I met Edson, and it was just kind of natural. Like, oh, you Haitian? Like, yeah, me too.
It was love at first sight.
Yeah, and we were like the only Haitians pretty much in the school, so we kind of just clicked. And
you guys were the only Haitians in the school?
Yeah,
There was like three of us.
Get out here.
No, let's give you some perspective. The theater program, we don't know about the whole school. The theater program is very small. So our class, Edson and I were in the same graduating class. There was like 14 people in our class. And so the classes are really small. So that's why they were the only two Haitians in our acting department. We don't know, the music department is huge. And
so within the theater department, you guys were the only Haitians in the
two of three.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. And South Florida got so many Haitian people, man.
I mean,
talented Haitian people.
Talented Haitian people on top of that.
A lot of people come through New World. It's also the type of training it is too.
Yeah.
You have to. It's based on merit, so people have to audition to get in the school. Then while you're in there, people either leave or get kicked out. So it's not like just everybody can come in. So that also like
So while you guys were in the school, that's when you guys get to know each other.
Yeah.
All right, and then afterwards, you guys decided, oh, we're gonna stick together and like link up and shit, or like what was that like?
What happened was, early on, I ended up moving in with Edson, and you know, it was a difference for me because I moved out of my mom's house, and
All right.
you know, we had two very similar yet very different upbringings. And our personalities were kind of very dynamic, and it was then we started sketching out the skeleton of the show that we ended up writing.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
while you guys were living together is when you actually started putting stuff together.
Yeah, we both had like a creative energy. I mean, we worked on a couple of projects here and there. We actually worked on one of our earliest film projects together was a competition for Power 96.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
What was that?
Maybe we'll release that one.
Maybe one day we'll release that.
But that was the
you guys
first
didn't
time
win
the
it?
three of us.
No,
we should have won, bro.
Yo, we were in the top 5.
We were in the top 5.
Okay.
And we kept getting shouted out on Power 96 all the time.
Oh,
We're like,
that's
yo, we're going to
what's
win.
up.
And then
And
we
you guys
didn't.
were in high school when this happened?
No, we were in college.
Or you just recently out of high school and college?
College.
We were in
It was college.
Yeah.
It was college, yeah.
All right.
But that was the first time like the three of us like wrote something, directed something, and started it together.
All right.
So
And you guys almost won that competition.
Yeah.
And that's what like sparked you guys to say, okay, we got some creative juices going together.
Yeah, and then we also did some
Now I wouldn't
plays.
say it sparked us, man. We've been creating in school.
No,
Like,
in school, like for assignments. But Josh was in another class, so we wouldn't really necessarily create with him in class. But then outside of classes, they lived together. They would, you know, and a lot of the show is based on their real experiences. Of their anecdotes because of their clashing personalities, so that, you know.
Yeah, so for context, Josh moved in. He definitely was not like the machismo man that me and my homies were.
Yeah.
And we were like, yo, bro. And then so we're trying to thrust him on these dates and he would epically fail. And then I was like, bro, you should write this shit down because this is hilarious. And that is where sort of like the engine started running for the show.
Yeah.
I saw that you guys had put the idea for the show for Greenlight.
Yeah. So what happened was it just kind of kept going. We kept the engine going. We had a pilot. We filmed like a short web series, and we were just kind of working on doing it on our own. And I'd say well into about a year or 2 or 3 into the process of us just trying to figure it out. Yeah. A homie of ours just sent us an email. Was like, yo, you should apply for this contest, Project Greenlight, and we did. And out of I think like 1,700 submissions, we won.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's good, yo. I really love it when like people from down south, when people from Florida, Miami in general, down south, like win shit and like put the city on the map because like we're not really like known for like being artistic and for like having all this culture and having all this talent here.
Yeah.
It's wild
like,
as we are.
We are.
And
We
so
were fucking
culturally
mad
rich.
talented people in South Florida,
That's
dog. And it's
right.
like, yo, I go out all the time. I link up with mad people who are working on mad ventures and projects, and I'm just like, why isn't this spotlighted? Like, why is it always like ass and titties? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up, dog? Like,
Because it's like part of the big narrative, the bigger narrative in the media of that misrepresentation.
Oh, South Florida.
Miami is comprised of minorities.
Yeah.
We're the majority here,
Yeah.
but we are the minority in the rest of the country. And
Yeah.
the truth is, in the rest of the country, the minorities are so poorly represented. They're so represented as, you know, stereotypes. And so, of course, if you have a city full of minorities, the city as a whole is misrepresented because minorities are misrepresented in the media. But we're changing that.
yeah, I get you. You guys, I saw that one of your biggest things throughout the entire project was making everything Miami grown, everything South Florida made, like production, post-production, writing, everything. Everything was like people was from South Florida and shit like that. Was that something that you guys set out to do originally, or was it something that like that you just while it was happening, we were like, maybe we should just keep everything down south?
I know definitely part of it's the core of like everything we make is like staying close to authenticity and what we know and depicting the stories and the people and the cultures that we're familiar with accurately. We were talking about her being the casting director. I think it wasn't like we were like, yo, we want you to be casting director off rip. It's just that the way LA likes to go about things, the process of filmmaking often dilutes the authenticity in filmmaking. So we want to say, okay, instead of going the route that everybody goes, okay, go to this casting director when you go to Miami. We know these people. Why don't we do it through our connections? And that made us find new people who are never actors, but were so good off rip. People that just lived here. So we, in every area, we try to do that and focus on like, how can we just stay real as possible when you have a machine that's used to like not staying real and just giving you like the cookie cutter version of something.
Well, that's kind of like, It's really plays out in the way that South Florida is actually put together. Like everything's gritty is in the city, and then everything out to the suburbs is like super beautiful and cookie cutter. You know what I'm saying? I think that has a lot to do with also like the dichotomy of South Florida. You know, like a lot of people are like, the South Beach is like cookie cutter, like beautiful what they put out to the media, but they don't want to show the real gritty South Florida. So even though there's a real gritty South Florida side to it.
Absolutely is.
That being said, you guys all went to the same high school, but I know you went to a magnet.
College.
No. New World?
No,
Yes, college.
Yeah, it has college programs.
College and a high school.
We should have said that.
Okay, my bad.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So you guys went to college then?
Yeah.
College.
Oh, I thought you guys did the high school.
No.
No.
Separate.
But we also went to art schools for high school.
Okay, so what high schools did you guys go to?
I went to Michael Crop.
North Miami Beach and then Beach Chargers.
I went to high school in Delray, you know what I'm saying? 4, 5, 6, 8, in the face. I don't care. I'm representing.
Still South Florida.
Yeah.
You still in there. Okay, so you guys, my bad, because you see, I always consider New World as a high school. My sister got accepted to that when she was going for dance. She never ended up going, unfortunately, because my family's Latin, and they weren't gonna let her.
I was like, you better become real. What you doing?
Not only that, but it's like, oh, that's just downtown. I said you're not downtown.
You already taking a train?
You're taking a train. That shit ain't happening. Stay right around the corner where I get to see your ass and pick your ass up. So that's where the confusion comes from. So you guys went to college. So originally, when you guys started your thespian stuff, did you start it in high school, or how did that come about?
I did. Yeah.
I started in middle school. I went to Norland Middle.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop. It was an art school in Carroll City.
Yeah.
And that's where I started.
So you guys all started in school the thespian?
Yeah, I figured that started when I was born. I just didn't know it was theater. I was always just wilding out, and then I was like, oh, there's a place to do this. All right, cool. But yeah, I started in I think it was in the middle of high school. One of my teachers was like, yo, you need to put your misbehavior into something. Because I was just disruptive in class, and I was like always clowning, you know what I mean? And he was like, there's a place for that. You heard of drama? And I was like, and then after that, it was a wrap.
Bless him. Bless teachers.
I used to be a punk rocking skateboarder.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're a punk rock skateboarder. What high school you went to?
I know. And you went to NMB?
And I went to
You went to NMB and you was a punk rock?
I was a punk rock and skateboarder,
Damn,
formerly
son.
a goth. And then
Shit. You went through that shit.
I did.
Went through all the phases.
Thanks for the advent of, social media wasn't really at its peak back then, so there's no photographic evidence of that phase.
I would have loved to see that though.
Thankfully for that.
Like your ass with like super black eyebrows.
Oh, no, I had to work tongue pierce,
the whole
hand
night.
pierce. It was awful.
You had your tongue
What was your
pierced?
favorite?
Yes,
what was
twice.
your favorite band?
My favorite band was Slipknot and this local group.
You Haitian, you like Slipknot.
That's some flavor.
System of a
That's the
Down,
flavor.
Hardcore, but
I used to like the System of a Down
System of a
from
Down.
that
Me
Wake Up
Me
song.
too. Come on, we all went through
Everybody
our
knows
little
that.
phase.
their old stuff though.
Yeah.
Like that,
I don't know.
that
I
was
just
my
know one
shit.
song.
Not me. I ain't know
I just
none.
know one song. Nope.
But lo and behold, I ended up joining a theater department because I realized that skateboarding every day after school doesn't get you anywhere. Well, at least for me,
Oh, no,
on my
it's
track,
just
on my
skateboarding.
track,
Damn, dog.
on my track, in my story, it wasn't meant for me. So, drama saved my life.
Have you guys? Are you guys family?
No,
Josh and I?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Oh, okay.
We
So
just
you-
Haitians that like, yo, you
I'm
Haitian.
their
Just
mother.
yeah, she's
Nice.
not
Fucking with you.
Yeah, we just
Trying to
did.
give birth to us.
Okay, so you guys ain't family. You guys just moved out, moved in.
we family.
Yeah, now you're family, but I mean like
fam.
not like actual like third cousin or second cousin removed or some shit like that.
Nah, maybe we might find out. Go back there.
I mean, I'm sure some slave master own.
Nah,
It's true. I mean, Jean-Baptiste, maybe that was his cousin or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Te pasaste. That was.
Hey,
So
keep
when
it real.
you guys moved in together, you started seeing that you guys grew up in different backgrounds, right?
Just like dynamically how we were raised. Yeah, I wasn't the most, savvy with women, for lack of a better word. And him and the rest of my roommates seemed to be, positive in that field. And, they kind of coached me. And then the stories kind of came from there. I just approached it very differently. I was, lack of confidence.
Was it like anything in your background? Like were you like a Christian background or anything like that?
Not necessarily. I just
church?
never, and this, to kind of circle it back to one of the themes of the show, we try to have it under the umbrella of fatherlessness and what are the effects of that. So a lot of the ways we were doing things we were doing come to some sort of effect on how you're raised, right? With or without a father in that. So, we kind of jumped into that. But for me, it was just like not having very prominent male figures to teach me how to quote unquote be a man.
Okay.
So that was just kind of the difference.
I could relate to that. Like my father really didn't come into my life until I was like 10 years old.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't his fault. I mean, it was his fault, but it wasn't really his fault. He was in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
like when he came out of jail, then it was like, okay, now he could like really be a father to me. But when you're 10 years old, you already think you're a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying?
Think you know everything.
What to do? I'm the man of the house. Like, he ain't made no money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different situation, but I can see where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it was just that difference. But I mean, it was all great. I mean, I've learned a lot from him, and I think we got a chance to have a really dope dynamic, and bringing Karina into the fold as far as developing the story. Just it came from something facile like dating and fun and guys living it up in downtown, and so like something fully fleshed and really authentic that we feel like Miami's like needed in regards of representation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Maria, what's your background like? What was your upbringing like?
Oh, I was born in Venezuela.
Okay.
And then I moved here when I was 8.
Okay.
So that transition was, it's rough. Anybody who's had to do something like that knows it's, learning a whole new language. You don't really, I came from fitting in where I was because I was born there, and that wasn't an issue. And then I came and I landed at a super white school when there was still white people in Miami back in 97.
Back. Way
and
back.
and had a thick accent, and was embarrassed that my parents didn't speak English, that kind of thing. And then I found drama, and it was also kind of a savior for me because I found a place where I belonged again.
Okay.
And also it was a predominantly black school, so then I felt like, oh shit, I'm one of these people. Like that really then reshaped the rest of my life. Because from there I went to another magnet school for high school, and then to New World, met these guys, and sort of having that creative outlet when I had such a rough transition at a young age really helped me.
Yeah.
And now that really shapes my work because I'm so interested in representing people that are not normally represented. And I'm also interested in talking about like, a character can be bilingual and say, we just, threw a couple words in Spanish here and there. That's Miami. That's how we are. You don't really see that on TV, but it's true to our experience.
Yeah,
and I'm so interested in representing that. And I still haven't felt like I've ever seen it on TV where I felt like, that's me. That's my family. So I'm going to keep going until I feel like I've given that to younger kids that are like,
You know what I noticed about you guys' show that when I watched it, I really liked it and it really resonated with me, is that you guys are mixing the lines between what it is to be black, what it is to be Haitian, what it is to be Latino, all on one show, and bringing it together and putting a different perspective to that. Because I feel like in the culture right now, when you talk about like certain ethnicities, is always like, black people, and then like Hispanic people, and then like Caribbean people, or like whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, things that the African-American community has struggled with is a lot of things that the Caribbean community has struggled with. There's a lot of things that the Latin community has struggled with. So it's like, it's something that we all have in common, and we don't have to separate it like you have your show and I have my show.
Exactly.
It's all the same experience, dog.
That's
You're
right.
going through the same shit, yo.
That same thing that you're talking about is like one of those unifying elements for us when we talk about the unifying struggle that all those people have. Just like you mentioned, it was a theme for us that we talked about, that all those people, all those minorities share. And it's not the same exact story, but it's the same struggle, and we're all unified through that. Yeah,
like we all have something in common, like with the oppression of like, not being the people on top. You know what I'm saying?
Just not being the people on top.
It was just not literally like, that's what I think from my perspective, that's where it comes down to. We're not at the people on top. We're all being oppressed, and we're all being oppressed together in similar ways. You know what I'm saying? In the similar communities.
And we've all left a home in some way.
Exactly.
We all have a root somewhere else. We have different foods, different flavors of music, and but what's beautiful about Miami is that it unifies that. There's not in Miami, it doesn't separate that like the rest of the country does. Miami's like, these guys are some of my best friends, and they're Haitian and I'm Venezuelan, and that happens naturally in Miami.
It's not something that's really conducive to happen in other places.
It's not. And especially in the industry where, like you said, it's going to be like, well, this is going to be the black show, and this is going to be the Latin show, and this is going to be the this. And it's like, well,
I don't like that shit.
What's up, man?
It's not what it's true.
real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be authentic, you want to be true, you gotta show what the people are living. You know what I'm saying? Like what we're going through. Like I don't go through like all black communities. Like this is the black community, and like no, it's my dog's crib. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go to my dog's crib and we gonna kick it and shit.
Where you hanging out today? The black community.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back to pray for me and shit. Like nah, you know what I'm saying? It's all together.
That's right.
So I was talking to the manager at the Little Haiti Cultural Complex. Abraham.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we know him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's super awesome person who's also trying to encapsulate what the community is going through. We spoke about gentrification. Do you guys feel that Miami's changing? Being that you guys grew up here, you see that how things are affecting Miami, especially gentrification.
Oh yeah.
Like outside money and influence like that. Do you feel that it's changing the culture of South Florida?
It already has in certain areas. It hasn't completely overrun it. Like I just think about Little Haiti specifically because that's where I'm more connected to and seen a lot of. I mean, I've seen that in downtown too because I lived there for a while. But it hasn't completely changed it. And the good news is there's still opportunity for the people to establish the power. I mean, they're running out of time because right now we're seeing a lot of moves in gentrification in Little Haiti. Like that Northeast Second, like all those businesses just got bought out last like 2 weeks or 2 weeks ago. And that's something really with Caribbean people, and Cubans are kind of better at it because they were able to establish a strong foothold with the wet foot, dry foot here in Miami, that they've established ownership within retail. But like the other Caribbean minorities have to learn really from the Jews and be like, yo, establish yourself in these neighborhoods so people can't just push you out and move you. But that is going to continue to happen because big money will move you if, as a culture, you don't find out how to stay in a place. And sitting there and protesting when it's already at your doorstep is too late. Yeah.
I also think, though, on the positive side, not that, it's a huge positive side, but the hopeful side is that a lot of these, and not in every case, but in a lot of cases, a lot of this big money that's coming in also happens to be from Latin America. And so it's a little closer. And I think there's a room for a conversation of being able to like, hey, let's, that's nice that you want to bring this up in this neighborhood and have these new opportunities, but let's also be respectful of the culture that already lives here. Let's have these conversations. I feel like the bridge is smaller and more likely to happen because there's if the money is coming from similar backgrounds, as opposed to just someone from, a white community that's rich and comes here and just tries to take over, which can also happen, because we're having all these big companies also have bids to see if they have their centers in South Florida. So like we have to be careful of that. But I feel like while we still can and in a hopeful manner, when these, big monies is coming from Brazil and other countries, then we still have the opportunity to have that conversation and make sure that while you bring up a nice building or you're bringing up all these new things in a neighborhood that already existed, there might be an opportunity to have that conversation and see how you can meld both worlds and put them and still keep the culture while you're bringing all this fancy,
making it nicer on the outside.
It's a toss up at the same time. Obviously, there's a duality. I mean, you don't want to roll the dice and be like, we'll just hope that we can have that conversation with ownership. Although you have that, we literally have an opportunity with, so Magic City Innovation right now in Little Haiti is an example. They have some Latin ownership at the top. And they're understanding that they're about to put a whole bunch of buildings in Little Haiti, but they want to infuse and do that with the community that's already there. But then you have Conway's, which is also in Little Haiti, which are like, bounce. We want this place. So like, there's times where conversation helps you, but then if you're depending on that conversation, sometimes it's just this white guy who could care less, and it's just the money.
Is that something that you guys think that you might address on the show?
Maybe.
I am talking to the right directors.
I don't want to say we've talked about this specifically, but if there is anything that we do want to explore is just how how the outside affects the inside, and so we might not be taking on the oppressors of gentrification, but maybe we see the characters be put in a situation because of the product of that. We see how it is on the ground level, so I think that makes it a bit more relatable. And, those are stories that I feel like we can actually pull from people that we know, or it's not too far to get, as opposed to like, I don't know, some lawyer that's like trying to take down the system.
Like the plot.
And when you guys do start putting together, like, ideas for shows. What is that creative process like? Like, how did you guys even fall into those roles? Did you say, I'm going to be casting director, I'm going to be director, I'm going to be this? Or is it that you guys just fell into those roles? Or like, how did that happen?
One thing, Edson brought this up earlier, is that the training at New World really helped us, like, as far as work ethic and process. There's a certain language that we speak because we got the same training. So the biggest thing at New World, or at least we taught, is ensemble and like how to just be, they call it being a firefighter, where, firefighters go in there and you just grab whatever, let's put out the fire.
Whatever needs to be done.
Whatever needs to be done, let's get it done. So, there isn't sort of like a drawing straws of what our roles are. I mean, obviously, like, some of us have our strengths, but we just kind of, whatever's needed, we do it.
You gravitate to where your strength is kind of.
Yeah.
And you just start doing that and picking it up, and that's what you're doing.
That's where you go.
So you guys didn't have a conversation like, well, we're going to do this. You guys just fell into the roles and you started taking on the task.
For the writer's room, like to write, we did have a conversation where I had been helping them out for many years, just like reading and maybe writing some stuff for them. And then eventually when the show was going to happen, they officially brought me on to write with them. And that was a conversation that needed to be had. Like, yo, this is going to be the writer's room, us three. Yeah. So of course we had those conversations, but while we're creating in that creative process, it's very, whatever comes, whoever's going to write the scene because they're better at it is going to write it. And then we're going to talk about it and discuss. So
it's awesome that you guys trust each other.
Yeah, trust plays a big factor. It's like, hey, I have an idea. Sometimes it's like, I don't know how I can justify this idea, but I got an idea. And it's like, go for it.
That's what's up, yo.
We're always like, yo, write it. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah.
That's not always like, people don't always give you that kind of like backing.
No, it's rare.
It's rare. It's like, I trust what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna invest some time in reading it. So go ahead and do it.
Yo, there's time, man. I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time for that shit. I don't give a fuck about your idea.
But that's why I think there's power in the work that we do, is that we realize that it's bigger than us. Yeah. This is not something that we want to like, I feel like sometimes artists inhibit themselves because they want to clutch onto it so tight. And I don't want to say it's a bad thing. Sometimes it works for people. But I just know that we let the work move through us for a higher purpose. We know this is bigger than us. And, you just tell your ego to politely step out of the way, and you can.
That's so rare. You guys are actors with low ego in Miami.
Hey, I don't want to say actors with no egos.
Damn, where the fuck you say?
I don't want to say we have no egos. Everyone has an ego. I just think you have to be able to keep your ego in check and know when it's appropriate. Because sometimes your ego gets to where you need to get.
You guys are actually doing shit. And you're checking your egos. There's tons of people in Miami ain't doing shit. I'm talking about
let's build. I got this project I'm working on, man.
They doing shit. They got the illest egos. Like, yo, you swear you Kanye.
Check out my website, bro.
Yeah,
it gets in the way, man. It gets in the way.
It's ridiculous, man. I like the fact that you guys put that to the side to put this together, man. And you guys, I feel that you guys feel this is your baby, right?
Yeah.
This is for sure.
Shit.
We have watched years. We've watched this baby come out the womb and crawl and learn how to eat, and we've
go to college.
Bunch of teenage years.
So all in all, how much would you say that in time? When did this idea originally hatch?
This hatched 2011. 2010.
I graduated in 11.
You said graduated 11.
So we started a year before that, yeah?
Yeah.
2008 years. Damn.
2010.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
What was funny was
overnight success.
8 years. Yeah,
and to touch on the fact of timeline, one thing I feel like affects people's process is that they feel like there is a time limit and there is a clock that's running out, and there's this, like, we focused on A, just creating, B, getting better at creating, and continuing to just add blocks to the
and we're still doing it. We're still learning. We're still figuring shit out. We're still trying to get better.
Yeah. So. That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's good, yo. So how did you guys link up with Complex? How did that happen?
Well, after we won the Project Greenlight competition, it was for inaugural digital series, like web series. But we had already been writing. We had so many scripts. Yeah. So then when we spoke to the studio and we had Skyped them and we showed them, we was like, yo, we got all these scripts. They were like, whoa, this show's way bigger than we thought. We thought it was going to be a little short form project. So then Ben Affleck flew us out to LA and we met with him. He was like, yo, we should do this as a TV show. So then that offered us the opportunity to pitch to a bunch of places, also pitch at Complex, and ultimately ended up at Complex through that route. But like, because we were already working, like Josh said, we weren't waiting for someone to give us the green light on something, just making work. And when you have it, an opportunity will come.
Yeah.
That's sort of what happened with it. And then just kind of snowballed.
And you guys, had you guys done any shoots prior to going out west to pitch it? Or you had it on paper and ideas?
Yeah,
we did some
was
shoots.
We shot a sizzle reel. We had a couple of web episodes which may never ever surface.
Man,
if people look hard enough, they might find.
Everything's on private. Everything's on private. But they could if they want.
We started. We had like 4 episodes shot and like a sizzle reel that was like.
Okay, so you guys already put in work before you even said.
Absolutely.
Before and that comes the case of just doing it and figuring it out.
And it was also because it was for the love of it, you know. It wasn't like trying to end gain and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna get famous with this or whatever. It was like we got to do this because we want to. We feel passionate about it, and so we'd do it on our free day, on our days off, you know, on Saturdays, Sundays,
in between class.
in between, So
and that's important to mention because I think it also helps you like when you're creating work. We found out about the competition like at the last second.
Okay.
And my homie sent me the link. He was like, yo, y'all should do this. But because we had all this work, all I had to do was just chop up from some of the stuff I already shot, I already edited, and use that as my pitch video.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And all we had to do was just put something in the beginning and the end. And it was like, bam, we were able to. You had
already put in the work as if you knew that this was coming.
And then the opportunity comes, and if you're ready for it, you'll be able to seize it. But if you're sitting there waiting for the opportunity to inform you to work, then you'll always be behind. You know what I mean? It's kind of like work and then trust that that's going to bring the opportunities, kind of the route we took.
It's like that quote that I like to say all the time from that song, La suerte es amiga de la acción. Like luck is friends with action. You gotta act.
That's what's up, man. That's dope, yo. And where is it that you guys... I know that being an actor in South Florida isn't the easiest. You know what I'm saying? Like, normally actors always try to go out west and try to pop it off out there. Where is it that you guys said, okay, I'm going to try to make my stand here in Miami and try to bring it here? You know what I'm saying? Because I know you guys going back and forth, but you guys are based here in South Florida, and you got this love for South Florida, not only theater, but also like film production and video production. What is it that you said, okay, this is the place, Miami's the next place up, you know?
Yo, it's a Wild West out here, man.
Yeah. I've always told my homies, like, look, if you're just an actor, fine, I get it. Go bounce out and like go seize those opportunities. But Miami is so fertile for the creative artist. So if you're acting and you're writing, or you're acting and you're creating, bro, stay here because it's so easier to pull your friends together. People are way more open-minded and willing to like do something pro bono for you to hash out an idea and see what's up. So because we weren't just actors, it was easier for us to be like, let's stay here and create and be actors.
And also because of the representation that we talked about in New York and LA, a lot of the roles that we get, I mean, we've been there, we go into rooms for these roles that are very stereotypical. And it's like, well, if you want that to change, then you have to make that change yourself. You have to be part of that change. So then we were like, well, let's represent Miami in a way that we would like, and let's represent ourselves and our people in the way that we would like, and let's make characters that speak more to what we are and what we've seen and the people we've grown up around, instead of going into these rooms, which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong. Like that's nice too. Yeah. But going into these rooms for someone else's writing for a Venezuelan character that has a Mexican dialect, it's like, no.
That's the worst. I don't even know how much I hate that. Yo, I'm Colombian, son. And in the last Narcos,
I stopped at episode 1. I was like, nope.
How do you cast a Brazilian dude to be motherfucking Pablo Escobar?
And they swear they're doing it right. That's the thing.
Come on, man. You lost me right there. This dude's accent is completely off. And the shit he's saying is like, nah. Done.
Middle of first episode, I was like, nope.
No,
I am not supporting
and
this.
that shit happens all the time. It's like they don't understand us, yo.
For the uneducated, though, I was like, oh, this is great.
Well, and that's the problem. That's where they went. And that's the problem. That's how they get to perpetuate us all being in the same umbrella, because if you don't know, you don't know.
And they keep spewing the same bullshit stereotype. And it's like, yo, this is not the way it is. You know what I'm saying?
And the same thing happens in reverse, like with Orphan, not orphan. Orange is the new black.
Yeah.
There was that lady. She was supposed to be a Haitian character.
Yeah.
And then they went back into her life one episode. And I knew the actor who played the Haitian guy, like when she was a child. And we spoke in Creole together.
Yeah.
And I know he can speak Creole. And his accent was awful.
Yeah.
And I texted him. I was like, yo, what's up with this show, man?
Yeah.
He was like, bro, they hired an accent person to tell me how to speak Creole. And I had to listen to her. So now he's embarrassing his work.
Yeah.
And they're just, that's, and and everybody who sees it is like, oh yeah, Caribbean Haitian. I'm like, cool, yeah. And they think they're getting that thing.
Exactly. Like that's not what Caribbean Haiti. You know, I've been to Haiti. I've been to Haiti twice.
What's up, man? What part?
I've been to Pétionville.
Pétionville, yeah.
Kanscoff, Boutillier.
All right.
Yeah, I've been up in there, yo. I'm telling you, I'm from South Florida. So like, when you in South Florida, you come across all these experiences where you meet all these various people. I've been to Venezuela.
Yeah.
I've been to Maracaibo.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I've been out there. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been all over like Latin America. So like,
Hell
you
yeah.
get to know all these people and like everybody has their own flavor. And I hated that like the motion picture and like the creators out west, they try to paint everybody with the same brush. It's like,
Yeah.
nah,
Yo, you know Garcia?
yeah, I know Garcia.
You know Garcia?
Yeah,
Alright,
from
Small World. I figured you might.
from Crazy Hood Productions.
Yeah, from Crazy Hood. Alright.
Yeah, from Crazy Hood. Yeah. No, he used to live across the street from me down south in Color Hammocks. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been all over this place. Especially Miami. Miami's a small city
Yeah.
where you get to know everybody like through various fucking things. You know what I'm
Random
saying?
shit. Your homeboy got his boy.
Exactly.
Like, all right.
Like, yo, you just show up at. I do music sometimes too,
Yeah.
so you go show up at studios and you just like meet mad random
True.
people and shit,
Sure.
and then you're like, oh, that's this person, that's so and so, and that's so and so, and it's such a small community here that, like what you're saying, it plays to the fact that creators could come together and cultivate awesome shit,
Yeah.
without anybody interfering and saying, no, this is the way. It's
Yeah,
supposed
you
to
don't have
be.
the politics of LA or New York where you gotta go through agents or whatever. You just call someone's homie and he knows someone you're just there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be remiss to say that there is like there's a balance, right, with collaboration and all that stuff. I think that one thing I've seen from people that create here is that they feel as if like you have to do the work to get good at what you're doing. And I don't want to say, like but like, I think if there's one work ethic that we've done on our ends is that we've made sure to do the work and do the research and how to present and all this stuff. So when we're approaching for collaboration projects, it comes off, whole and not like just something that you piece together, because I'm sure you have people that are like, yo, let's collab. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you don't just collab just for the sake of
just to
collabing.
collab,
Obviously
like-
you want to be wise and the person you're collabing with elevates your work.
Exactly.
So there's that thing, but and to touch on what you said about painting the brush, it's like we win when we are specific.
Yeah.
So like, why not be specific?
Yeah.
And the devil's in the detours.
Yeah.
It makes
That's
the work it elevates the work by being specific instead of this one general.
Even the branding of your shirts, man. It pops because it's specific. You're taking something and you're bringing your culture in a specific culture.
That's why I did it. You know what I'm saying? I did it because I was like, yo, I want something just for Miami. Is that like when they see this shit, they're like, yo, that's somebody from
Everyone's
Miami.
gonna be like, yo,
They're gonna be like, yo, you from Miami? I get this shit all the time too. When I travel, I'll be like in New York, I'll be anywhere, Philly, and somebody sees my shirt, they be like, yo, where'd you get that shirt? Like, yo, you from Miami? Like, yeah, I'm from Miami. Dog. What's up, man? What's good? And you know what's the craziest shit? Miamians are super friendly to other Miamians outside of Miami.
Yeah.
Outside of Miami, it's like, yo, you Miami? Dog, we doing shit tonight. We got fucked up. We're going down the street.
It's like when you're in Miami, you listen to Pitbull and you're like, oh God. But then when you're outside of Miami, you're like, Pitbull!
It's real fun.
Is that
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm feeling that new track though with Pitbull and Enrique.
am.
I'm just
Moved
saying.
to Miami?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You
know what I'm saying? Like that's that shit that like Miamians love. When you hear though, everybody's like super shady to each other. Like, super shady with mad ego because like we were talking about, you guys have low ego, but I meet a lot of people that are doing ventures and they think that because they're doing a project, then their ego's like poof, like I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be like, come on, man, you human, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm human. I met a lot of shit. I met a shitload of celebrities. And the celebrities that always are super dope have always approached me as if I'm just a regular dude, a human. Because it's true, bro. At the end of the day, no matter what the fuck you do, you take a shit, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You put on pants just like me and everything else. You know, I punch in your mouth, you gonna have some motherfucking blood. It's not like, oh, you're gonna bleed gold.
Yeah,
like, if you bleed gold, then shit.
Then all right.
Hit me up.
We need to be
Blood
friends.
drive.
You know what I'm saying? Blood drive. That's what's up, dog. fucking blood. You fucking take that shit straight out, dog. You know what I'm saying? But it's the truth. It's like putting egos aside is super awesome. And when you put egos aside, then you see genuine people in Miami that are really doing things and trying to put the city on. Yeah. You guys are those people, man. I applaud you guys
Thank you
for doing
so
this.
much,
You know what I'm saying? For fucking literally like putting the shit together, staying here in South Florida. Because I know it wasn't easy.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of people have told you, oh, just go out west and try to produce that shit out west because all the companies are there, every post-production is there. But like, dude, like you guys decided to buck all that shit, stay here locally, you know, show love to South Florida, show love to South Floridians, to the experience that we're living. You know what I'm saying? Show it to the world and show it to the nation, to everybody that's watching Complex. I highly recommend everybody go watch your show, yo.
Oh,
if you haven't seen the show, you guys listening, watch the show, binge that motherfucker.
And follow us. Be sure to follow us at Complex Grown on all social media.
That's your
that's our handle.
Your tag
at Complex Grown.
Yeah.
At
If you like it, tell a friend and watch it again.
That's what's up. And if people wanted to get in contact with you guys personally, what's your IGs, personal IGs?
My IG is at Josh Jean B as in boy.
Jean as in Jean.
Jean. Josh Jean B.
Okay. B as in boy.
B as in boy.
You, Maria?
Mine is Maria Corina Ramirez, my long name.
Maria Corina Ramirez.
That's right.
That's what's up. I like that. I like the way you say your name too. Yeah. You don't like white that shit out.
You know, I used to, but now I'm having this like rebirth where I'm like, no, bitch, learn how to say my name the way it is.
Yo.
My name is Maria Corina, so say it like
Maria
that.
Corina.
Yeah.
What's up, dog? And you?
I'm not on social media, so you have to have.
What's going with that? You
I've never been, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just never.
Keep it on the low.
Never been the thing for me, so then I just never did it. But
that's what's up, dog. Stay off that bitch. If you're not on that motherfucker, yo, y'all gotta reach out to us and y'all just go to Complex Grown. Y'all know what it's at.
Watch all of my dogs at Cafeteria Field.
What's up? Well, once again, thank you guys for coming on the show. Talking to me, talking to us about what you guys are doing, how you put it on for the city, how you influencing the 305 culture. I hope you guys blow up and nothing but prosperity and flourishment for you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Same to you, bro.
I really feel y'all energy. Y'all really putting it on and y'all really love this shit. And it's awesome, you know? It's awesome to feel that energy coming out of a South Floridian, out of South Floridian people. What is your favorite Miami moment and your favorite Miami foods? 2 questions.
Okay, I don't do good with favorites, so I'll just give you my most recent one. I was in a gas station on Northwest 7th Avenue in Little Haiti, and then this lady, I was chilling, I was waiting to put gas, or I was trying to put air in a bike that I just got off her rug or some random shit. And then some lady walked in there. She was on her phone. She had the headpiece on, and the gas station was really quiet, you know. And she walked in, you know, when you got the earpiece on your phone, you talk loud. And she bust in. She like, girl, you better not give her no money. I told that girl she better go on 79th and give up that pussy. Her light bill need to be paid. And I was like, I was trying to record it because I was like, oh, this is a gem. This
World
is a gem.
star.
But then she stopped talking, but I was like, yeah, I love that. All right.
That's a straight up Miami shit right
all that mango season right now, man. One time for mango season right now.
You mangoes?
Mango season right now, man. One time.
You going hard on mangoes? What's your favorite Miami food?
Yo, my favorite Miami food. I don't know, but I do love ice cream from Azúcar because it has that guava and that galleta Maria. And my favorite Miami moment is I travel a lot. As soon as I land and I go into the runway of the airplane to get off the airplane, you hear all the Cubans already, like all the people that work at the airport, like,
I experienced that shit. I experienced that shit like
right away.
The fucking baggage handler. Por esta cosa, que coño, por esto.
I'm like, yep, I'm home. Let's go.
This is Dave.
Yeah. My favorite Miami moment was I got caught up in a jitney rivalry. I was on the jitney and you know the guy saw another jitney driver was like cursing at him in Creole, and then they started racing because you know they were trying to get ahead of each other so they can pick up all the customers.
And I'm privately owned.
And I'm like sitting there, like, and mind you, it's just me. And he's like, that's why he was trying to get more people. So I'm just like sitting in the back, like watching the Fast and the Haitians, like Too Fast, Too Haitian.
That's what's up, dog.
And my favorite Miami food is my grandma's food, man.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like a left-leaning, a little bit more of a liberal Haitian, so she likes to like flip up her dishes to accommodate,
okay,
you know, my American and vegan palate.
So what's her version of John John?
No, she uses regular drink.
Like she'll bake.
You don't fuck with no tonton.
Like you don't really hear it much, but she'll like bake her griot, or she'll like
yeah.
Bake real, that's what's up.
she'll
Okay,
make
grandma.
like.
How do you say grandma in Creole?
I say goma.
Goma.
I say goma.
Or gun.
Abuelita.
Gun.
Yeah.
Gun, yeah. But yeah.
A lot of people just say
Some
lumbi.
grill, some nambi.
Some, yeah.
Some lumbi. Yo, let's go.
I got a plant-based diet, so I don't really fuck with that anymore.
You don't
but
fuck with
I
that?
don't. But I still appreciate it. I still
You still smell that shit, don't you? I want that bitch.
smelling it is just enough for me.
I guess, bro. I'll tear that shit up, bro.
What's your favorite?
I'll make sure to give it to
My
you.
favorite.
Miami food and Miami movie.
Damn, you know what? Nobody's asked me that
Well, there
shit,
you
dude.
go. Flipping and
My
reversing.
favorite Miami food is probably, I would say pan con bistec. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pan con bistec is
classic.
It's
That's
a
a
classic.
You can't go wrong with that, bro.
Mary's Coin Laundry has the illest pan con bistec.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna have to go.
Yo, Mary's Coin Laundry. You know,
And their smoothies are good too.
Oh, the smoothies, everything out of Mary's is pop, dog. Especially when you drunk as fuck, like 3 in the morning. You know, 3, 4 in the morning, you show up to Mary's, you like, yo, I want 5 pan bistec. You wake up in the morning with 5 pan bistecs on your ass, 1 half eating and shit. You're like, what the fuck happened last night?
Hey, but Pinolandia comes in the clutch.
That is the clutch. I used to go to Yambo a lot.
I don't know.
Yambo is right on 1st and 17th. It's another fritanga. It's a throwback. They have this big ass white horse out in the front. That's,
I think I know what you're talking
you know what I'm saying? It's
about.
like a big white plastic horse. You see that shit? That's classic. That's my favorite food. And favorite Miami moment is probably being on that white horse, drunk as fuck. One of these yeah, 5 in the morning, I got a picture with the fucking security guards trying to take me off that bitch. And I'm acting like I'm riding that motherfucker. That's some straight up Dade County shit right there. Damn, that's what's up. You flipped the script. I like that. Well, once again, man, thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. You guys are mad humble, and gracing us with your presence.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invite.
You guys are mad welcome. Whenever you guys drop your next fucking venture, you guys for sure come out here. We chop it up.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about how you guys put that shit together, man.
It's a
Great.
date, dog.
Hell yeah,
be
thank
easy.
you.
Sounds Gucci.
Thank you so much once again. Until the next time, if you guys like this show, feel free to subscribe, rate it, and share it with your friends. This is Darwin for the Que Bola podcast for Phresh. Late.
That podcast was pretty freaking awesome, if I do say so myself. Yeah. I hope everybody enjoys it. Y'all already know if you want to reach out to Complex, it's at Complex Grown for the show. Also, if you want to get in contact with the creators, at Josh Eugene B and at Maria Corina Ramirez. And Edson, you just got to hit him up through at Complex Grown, or I don't know, see him in person, because that's the way it works with him. Until the next time, I hope y'all really enjoy this. Subscribe, rate it, and share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with people you like, share it with people you don't like. Just share this shit, all right? Love y'all. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Hasta la próxima. Cógelo con te querísimo, mi gente. I'll see ya.